You have successfully joined the webcast. Please stand by. The meeting will begin shortly. You have successfully joined the webcast. Please stand by. The meeting will begin shortly.
Welcome to the Village of Wappinger Falls monthly regular meeting of the Mayor and the Board of Trustees for Wednesday, January 11th, 2023. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Clerk, any recognition, announcements, special events?
Yes, Mayor and Board. This year, many of you may have noticed a menorah. It was at Mizzier Park. It was up toward the front of Mizzier Park, adjacent to the police station. And the menorah, for those of you who don't know what it is, it's a celebration of the holidays. And they have candles that light up 7 days, I think. Correct?
Correct.
I have a letter here from Trustee Tillershek. To my knowledge, it's the first time that this has been done by the village. It was cold, but the warmth of the welcome of the village extended to the rabbi and the members of the Jewish community will long outlast any temporary chill. To those of you who were able to attend, I wish to express to you my sincere and profound thanks. While this event was sponsored by and funded by local members of the Jewish community, the presence of the mayor, multiple village trustees, representatives from the county and state government, and S.W. Johnson Fire Company did an outstanding job and made the village proud, and was a clear demonstration of the welcoming of the diverse community our village is. Once again, thank you, John Tillershek. That's all I have at the time, Mayor. I don't know if anyone else has any of that recognition. Okay.
I would just, I know the businessmen's luncheon got canceled, so it's now scheduled for
Next Wednesday.
next Wednesday. Okay.
Knights of Columbus,
Knights of Columbus.
12 noon. Okay, roll call. Mayor Sereno.
Present.
Trustee Sidoti.
Here.
Trustee Tellersack.
Here.
Trustee Nesnick.
Here.
Trustee Huber.
Present.
Trustee Ruffin. Trustee Larissella.
Here.
Village Attorney Wallace.
Here.
We have a motion to accept the minutes from December 14th, regular board meeting.
I'll make
and December 22nd, special board meeting.
I'll make it.
Trustee Huber. Can I have a second?
I'll second it.
Trustee Tillershak. All in favor?
Aye.
Mayor votes aye.
Carried. Authorization to pay bills as per approved warrant.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Seconded by Trustee Tillershak. All in favor?
Aye.
Mayor votes aye.
Carried. You may recall back in September, we had a public hearing with respect to the code changes, comprehensive plan, and then we kept the hearing open while the county was doing an assessment of it, and they did reply within the 30-day time frame that they had, and their comments were reviewed by the planning board, and we are now prepared to close that public hearing. And by law, we have to have a second hearing. So tonight, if you feel so to close this hearing, we can open a second hearing and schedule that for the end of the month. That will fulfill that requirement. We can close that hearing and then have a vote to accept those changes in February, the February meeting, which is, I don't remember, February 8th. So can we have a
I'll
motion
make it.
to close this hearing?
I'll make that motion to close the meeting, the hearing.
Can I have a second?
I'll second it.
Well,
Is that Pat?
it's just a second, it's a second date. There's no closing of any hearings or anything, from what I understand. It's just a second public hearing.
So this is the second public hearing?
Well, this is the first one.
No, we had the one,
Well, we kept it open. We
We
never
right.
closed the first hearing.
We kept the first hearing open,
Understood.
and so now we're closing the first hearing.
The purpose of the second meeting will be the incorporation of revisions and changes and comments from county planning.
Right. So I have a motion to close this hearing. It's been open since September. And I have a second from trustee Sadati.
Correct.
All in favor?
Mayor votes aye.
Can I have a motion to establish a second hearing for January 25th?
I'll make that motion.
Clerk, I'm sorry, it can't be on January 25th, and I'll explain why. The actual proposed plan, the revised plan has to go back to county planning for their review and comment. So unfortunately, we're not gonna be able to set that second meeting, that second hearing yet. I expect it will be probably the first week of March, we'll be ready to go.
Why so long?
Because county planning has to go through the same exact 30-day period, unless they can have their revisions and comments back earlier, which is possible in this situation, because there are not that many changes and revisions that are proposed.
Well, let's schedule it for the February meeting, and if county planning doesn't get back to us, then we'll have to just push it back a little bit.
Okay.
Good idea.
I think that's a good idea.
Well, that's good, but they've had plenty of time to review any comments.
The second revised comprehensive plan has to go back to county planning.
I get,
Those changes haven't been made yet.
they have not been made yet.
No, not for the public's.
Okay, well, the county responded 30 days after September, so they've had it since October.
They're according to
We've
Michelle,
had it since
yeah,
October. Okay,
Understood.
all right.
So we'll tentatively establish the second public hearing on February board meeting night,
For the revised document.
8th.
8th. So I can advertise for a public hearing for February 8th, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Can I have a motion to schedule the hearing for the 8th?
I'll make that motion.
Second,
I'll second.
trustee Lauricella, or trustee,
That's it.
Sadati.
That's trustee Lauricella and Pat Sadati on a
all in
second.
favor for the second public hearing to be scheduled for February 8th?
Aye.
Aye.
Mayor votes aye.
Carried. I was also hoping to set a date for the final adoption of the comprehensive plan in February.
Well, everything's in a little bit of flux, but if we're going with the 2/8 for the hearing, put the,
222 for the fine?
put it tentatively for 2/22.
Okay.
I somehow see that it getting pushed back to March, but we can set the date.
All right.
I think it's,
Fluid enough. As long as we get it
there's a
done.
little fluid there, yep. So we'll set that date for 2/22.
All right.
You want a motion and
I'll
a
make
vote?
that motion as well.
Okay. Second?
Second.
That's trustee Huber.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Mayor votes aye.
Okay. As you know, we're moving into the election season for the village. And I have a resolution that I need to read every year, being the chief election officer for the village. Resolution appointing inspectors of election. Whereas by prior resolution, the village of Wappingers Falls has been divided into 3 wards. And whereas it is the desire of this board to appoint inspectors and a chairperson of election in accordance with the provisions of the law, the election law. Now therefore be it resolved that the following named duly qualified persons be, and they are hereby appointed as inspectors of election for the village election districts as follows. Election District 1, Ward 1, Anne Marie Panaleo, R. Louise Lowney, D. Election to District 2, Ward 2, Susan Johnson, R. Kathy Massey, D. Election District 3, Ward 3, Brenda Alfonso, R. Vinnie Fitzsimmons, D. Backup inspectors are as follows: Pat Bracone, R. John Fitzsimmons, D. Inspectors to designate their own chairperson. Resolved that the above-named inspectors of election shall, prior to the assumption of their duties, file a constitutional oath of office with the village clerk, shall preside at all village elections for that ward for which they have been appointed, and shall perform all the duties of inspectors of election provided by law until their successors shall be appointed, and be it further resolved that the compensation for the inspectors of election herein appointed is hereby fixed at $17 per hour and $30 for meals per inspector for the day. The general election is to be held March 21st, 2023 in this room. This resolution shall take effect immediately. The foregoing resolution was adopted January 11, 2023. Can I have a motion to accept that resolution?
I'll make it.
Is there a second?
Second.
Trustee Nesnick. All in favor?
Aye.
We did give them,
Mayor votes aye.
we did give them a $1 increase on the hourly rate to be consistent with the county. Resolution number 1, 2023 of 2023. Are you all familiar with this, so I don't have to read the whole thing? The county has an organization, and they have members of it, and some of the members are voting members, some are not. 3 municipalities are not. There are 3 villages, and the village of Wappingers Falls is one of them, and they rotate every 3 years. Our year is up. Our year to serve is 2023, and it's been decided that the highway superintendent will be the person to represent the village of Wappingers Falls at those meetings for 2023. This is the resolution stating that. Any questions on that? You all with me on it?
Yep.
Roll call vote. Mayor, Trustee Huber.
Aye.
Trustee Sidoti.
Aye.
Trustee Nesnick.
Aye.
Trustee Ruffin.
Aye.
Trustee Telezak.
Aye.
Madam Lauricella. Trustee.
Aye.
Mayor.
Aye.
Carried. Resolution number 2, 2023 of 2023. Every year, Central Hudson puts together an acceptance undertaking that when they do work in the village of Wappingers Falls on any of the streets, sidewalks, or any areas in the village, they are to put the condition of that property back to the way it was before they started. If they fail to do so, we can, the highway guys, whoever it is, can go in there and fix it the way it was before they did it, and we can collect up to $5,000 for that extra work. This is every year. So we have a resolution that you will accept that formal document, which I put into the handout. It's all signed, notarized, ready to go. It's the second one in. Central Hudson received January 9th, addressed to me. And the second part of that is the undertaking. Village attorney has reviewed it, and the village attorney has his staff prepared this resolution accepting that. Questions about that? Mayor,
No, I have no questions.
question over there.
Yes.
Now, it's saying that Central Hudson, they're responsible when they open anything. What about West Main Street?
They didn't open that.
No, it's in relative to when they come in and do, say, a repair on a small dig or something, and then it's inspected, and if the highway superintendent determines with our engineer that the work product that they did is not acceptable, then they would have to do it again up to $1 threshold limit, which I believe is $5,000.
So that's still a big debate, who's responsible for the one on West Main?
That's a whole nother issue
That's
altogether.
a completely different issue. It's the $1 million,
Question, yeah.
repair. And who's gonna pay what?
I need a roll call vote. Trustee Huber.
Aye.
Trustee Sidoti.
Aye.
Trustee Nesnick.
Aye.
Trustee Ruffin. Trustee Tillisack.
Aye.
Trustee Larissella.
Aye.
Carried.
Mayor votes aye.
You are all aware that we are in receipt of a resignation letter from Dora Panagopoulos. She hadn't been here long enough for me to pronounce it right. Effective January 11, 2023, that's today. Can I have a motion to accept her resignation?
Can I ask a few questions before we do this?
Yes.
My first question would be, is the work hours. When are the work hours? Is it weekends or during the week? I'd rather see it during the week, and the reason being is we have department heads that work during the week, and they can come during her work hours when she's here. And how many hours is she working during the week?
This one is just to accept a resignation.
This is to accept the resignation.
All right.
So,
I'll make the motion to accept the resignation.
Okay.
Trustee Telisek.
We'll get to his question after this vote.
Yep. I have a motion to accept the resignation from Trustee Telisek. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Trustee Ruffin?
Yes, sir.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Mayor votes aye.
Carried.
Now, to the extent of that question, I am going to propose that in order to keep some continuity, the best that we can, that the board, I will make an appointment to engage her as a 1099 employee so that payroll, vouchers, bills, possible band or bond payment, if they come up in the next 6 weeks, gets taken care of. The medical buyout for the people who are on the medical buyout program get paid. It should come this week, that they should get their check. So that will be next week. Or else the clerk or someone will be getting phone calls that they didn't receive their check. So, to continue some continuity, I'm going to appoint Dora as her hourly rate based upon 37.5 hours a week. And from what I gather, she has a one-day availability during the week, and she has some weekend time that she's available. So getting back to Kevin's point, I think all of us would like to see her at least one day a week in the office while she's doing this. Possibly two. I don't know if she could do two, but I don't know what her arrangement is with her new job.
Is this the one that just resigned?
Yes.
It,
Get rid of her.
Pardon?
Get rid of her. Get a full-time Monday through Friday like he always
I
had.
understand that, but in the interim, you need to have the bills processed.
Speak up. I can't hear you. So she's resigning, but yet she can't stay?
She's resigned as the full-time treasurer.
Right, but how is she going from 5 days down to 1 day? Is she on a medical leave?
No. The arrangement that she has with her new employer, it's a CPA firm, is that she is allowed some flexibility in her work schedule. So,
So quick question, why did she take this job? She had another,
I
She
can't,
didn't have that one though.
right.
We can't answer that.
I can't answer that.
all right, another question.
Evidently, she got searched out by this CPA firm, and she took the offer.
All right,
Putting out there for a new treasurer?
Yes.
we're not hiring back the other one we had, are we?
Pardon?
We're not hiring the other one we had back, are we?
You're talking to, no,
I hope not.
no.
Just give my opinion. We should hire her back.
Well, that's,
Thank you. That's done. Over.
The village needs a treasurer.
I know that, but this other lady
I mean, this is.
came on anytime she wanted. She come on
Crazy.
weekend. How did she, she worked on the weekends.
we are going to talk about,
This isn't, we don't have to debate this.
no. What we are going to do, though, when we do go into executive session, we will then talk about this specific game plan that the board wants to follow in regard for a treasurer. I have my own ideas. They may match up with a few of the board members. I'm sure a few of the board members have their own plan. But I'm cognizant of the fact that the board will change substantially in April.
Just hire a firm.
The mayor is making an appointment of a contractor,
Okay?
1099 contractor for a maximum of 37 and a half hours a week, of which some of that portion of time, or all of it, will be done at the village hall or from her house,
It'll be, hopefully we can get
because that's important.
8 to 12 hours at Village Hall.
Okay, for the purpose of doing payroll, pay vouchers, and any other emergency.
wait a minute, I gotta, back up a second. You're saying 8 to 12 hours a week at the village hall?
I'm expecting,
And
if she has one day availability, I'm sure she can spend the one day here.
in the 37 and a half hours, is that,
It's not necessarily gonna be 37 and a half.
okay, so is she working from home?
She will be able to work from home. I believe she can process vouchers and bills from home.
All right,
We have other contractors that provide us with details as to what they do and how much time it takes them to do it
so
on a
my,
weekly basis.
now my question is on this part, because this happened a few years ago where a trustee was sick and she wanted to sign vouchers and take them home, but she couldn't do it. So this is being allowed for a treasurer, but a trustee can't take vouchers home
No,
to sign.
those documents cannot leave the building. She will have to come in here and prepare the warrant.
But her documents, those documents are going to be building to go to her house, correct?
The vouchers are not gonna leave the building, and the warrant will be prepared here at the village hall.
So I guess I'm confused of how she's working from home if the
I don't
stuff
know
is
what
here.
other business she's doing from home, but the vouchers and documents aren't.
Because, I mean, we're kind of stuck between a
Well,
rock and a hard
well,
spot.
I mean, it's-
And I just learned recently, 2 weeks ago at a meeting, that vouchers haven't been signed in a month and a half. Okay? Now, I don't know how I'm gonna vote. I really don't. Because, again, we're stuck between a rock and a hard spot right now. And village employees have to get paid, and our vendors have to get paid. So, the finance committee didn't sign bills for a month and a half. They just signed bills 2 weeks ago, a little bit. The bills got done today, they signed 20 bills, and I hear there's 80 more bills to be signed. Like, if this is a 40-hour-a-week job, and we're having her come back, and I still don't know how the bills are gonna get paid if she hasn't done it in 40. What makes you think we're gonna do it in 37? Okay, I'm trying to say. And again, I don't know how I'm gonna vote because I'm kinda held right to the fire right now.
You have
Because I do care about our employees, and I do care about the vendors. You know, these people do gotta get paid too, and it's tough. And this is really making me kind of like upset about it, like, you know, I wanna do the right thing, but I don't wanna do.
You have to understand the process that got to this point, and so you have some leftover November bills, and you have December bills. That should be in the 80 vouchers left, besides the one that Mike took upstairs, the 25 or so. But in that process, she had to pick through all the vouchers and the bills asking for payment because there was a boatload of duplications,
I'm
Which-
yeah.
which, because when they didn't get paid in June and July and August, they resubmitted and resubmitted and resubmitted. So they're all done with, hopefully. I don't believe there's any left. So what we see in the accordion file for the vouchers that she has to process should be it, to the best of my knowledge.
Mr. Mayor, just a quick question.
Sure.
How do you intend to address the annual update, Doc? I mean, we've been emailing back and forth, and you know the previous treasurer filed that in June of 2021 for that budget. But I saw the, you know, I just glossed over it.
When you say previous treasurer,
well, that would be, let's see, 1, 2, 3 treasurers ago. Yeah, that was Miss McMahon. She had filed that document.
she originally filed it and then got an extension.
She got an extension. Okay, so we have the 2022 annual update doc to contend with. That was not filed,
And I believe there's a
unfortunately.
deadline coming up on.
No, that deadline has come and gone. So for villages between 5,000 to 20,000, that is it, 90 days beyond the fiscal budget year. So that actually would have been due like May, June, July, August. You can get a month extension. I would say the state wants it no later than November, since I've spoken to our financial advisor, Beth Ferguson, several times. So that document hasn't been filed, and as of right now, I mean, we've been kind of talking about this and scrambling to get the paperwork to the S&P, Standard & Poor's global rating constituents, because they're responsible for, unfortunately, with the filing that we have, they're either going to downgrade the village's bond rating or pull the rating altogether, from what I understand. And I just spoke with Beth earlier today. So we have to get that done. And, obviously we don't want our bond rating to go. There's 3 bonds that are going to be sold. 2 of them I have here on the phone pulled up. They're for the boathouse improvements, and then the other one is for Franny Reese Park improvements. So that's a $300,000, $600,000, and $200,000 original issue amount bond respectively. So that's what we have up for bonds for sale. And Standard
And when are
Poor's
they-
is going to be
and-
next month.
And say that again?
Standard Poor's rating is going to be next month.
When is the bond payments due?
The bond payments, I think they're going to be sold in the next couple of months, but I didn't get an answer yet when the bond payments are going to be due from Ms. Ferguson, but I can follow up with that, and I can get you that answer first thing tomorrow.
Well, if the board chooses to verify or approve my appointment, the clerk is prepared to call Dora and tell her that she has been approved for the 1099 position at her hourly rate, and we will give some expectations of what we hopefully can extract out of her working under this arrangement.
Well, we just need to make sure that we, I mean, even if Standard & Poor's yanks our bond rating, which is horrible, you don't want Moody's to do the same.
Right.
And they will follow suit. They're going to see everything that S&P did. And you don't want to have a junk bond rating. And
Well, the rating is only gonna go down if we miss payments, okay?
Well, that's not exactly true. If you don't provide the rating agencies with a plan and then the documentation, and then you're not doing your due diligence reporting to the state, that can get yanked altogether. So I was advised that one of two things is going to happen while the work that we submitted on the finance team and with the effort, the wonderful effort put in by Ms. Java to assemble this data for Standard & Poor's. I was already informed today from Ms. Ferguson that our bond rating is either going to be downgraded to like a B status, which is very bad. It's almost like a junk bond rating, or pulled altogether, which we definitely don't want.
Well, why wouldn't the finance committee establish her work schedule for her based on priority?
With Dora Panagopoulos?
Yeah.
Oh, many times.
I mean, no, why wouldn't you do that going forward? Like, if she
Right.
comes in tomorrow, if the appointment goes through tonight, you can list the priorities and hand them to her and say, can you do these?
Absolutely has to be done. I mean, we've.
There
met
has to
with
be a
Dora.
schedule, though.
You know-
There has to be accountability for when somebody doesn't show
And
up.
when her invoice comes in, it should be detailed on how much time she spent on these different tasks.
Right. I mean,
Just like any other vendor.
I'm not the boss, Mr. Mayor. I'm not the boss of that employee, guys. You're the boss. So
Okay.
if you want to make that schedule, you're the boss. Technically, she answers to you. She doesn't answer to me. I'm just the finance committee guy. I shouldn't have to be doing any of this.
I'll be there when John makes the phone call tomorrow.
Can I just say one more thing, quick one? Just a
Sure.
quick one. No harm, foul here with this one. So, I'm going back to the paychecks, because she's gonna be doing the paychecks. And she's gonna be in the office and out of the office. I just wanna know, can we get a number, so if the employees have a question about their paychecks or any problems with their paychecks, we can get in contact with her? How are we gonna go about that?
I'm sure we can.
All right. Because I know sometimes there's a concern in employees' paychecks, and some employees have problems, I guess.
No, they're more interested, and justifiably so, they're more interested in their time accrual
Yeah.
for vacation and
Yep.
I constantly receive phone calls about time, paycheck. I mean, I would probably half a dozen a week.
I got 3 today alone.
Almost every week, the whole entire time I was on finance.
I had 3
Yeah, I'm
today.
just thinking for the employees.
No, I agree. They should go to that.
Yeah,
They
should go to that person. You
should go
shouldn't
to
be in.
any
Yeah,
trustee.
Any trustee, no.
Really.
They should go to that person.
I was happy to try to find the info, but
Well, then the question is, I'm speaking from my office point of view. We get calls about, people call about taxes. Have my taxes been paid? Well, we don't know. We wouldn't have any idea.
See, that's why I think,
And what do we do then?
If we-
Tell the people, oh, I don't know, you're gonna have to wait 3 months till we get a treasurer.
yeah, we shouldn't have to do that. And for having this person at 1099, that's why I think the majority of her time should be in the village hall for these reasons. And if they do come in, village residents are gonna be like, you know, I took a day off from work to come talk to the treasurer, and there's no treasurer. What am I gonna do?
We're all hoping that this is gonna be a temporary thing, and you're doing your search for a permanent treasurer. This is just to keep us going till
It
you.
has to be a temporary
The
thing
last of
because,
them, pretty much.
also, Ms. Panagopoulos is expecting it to be a temporary thing.
Right. She already has a full-time job.
So,
Right.
Mr.
Just has to be
Mayor,
a stopgap.
correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought you said something about 6 weeks. Can you elaborate on that?
Well,
When you said for
I
An
just,
appointment for 6 weeks? Was it?
no, I'm not
Clean my ears.
deadlining
Yeah.
the appointment. I'm just saying that
Wish we could nip this in the bud right now, like if we had somebody.
The mayor has,
But you ask a question, he's asked a question. Which one do you want me to answer first?
No, I'm just talking amongst myself.
I asked first.
Okay.
Only fair.
So, I'm not dead-ending the appointment. I'm just recognizing the fact that some things are set in stone. There is going to be an election, and there is going to be a change of the whole structure with committees and personnel.
I thought you might possibly have another candidate, that's all.
Well, that is now 2 weeks since that person was contacted. Okay?
Okay.
And so, if she gets paid for what the work she had performed, this is the other treasurer applicant in the process with Dora, Jody. If she gets paid for her work, then she would like a shot at the treasurer's position. That's what Mike is signaling me. But I can't depend on that to happen because that could be 4 weeks out. So we still have to do some due diligence, scour around for people. I've got 2 people that I have to call for part-time positions. And we have Donna Cornell looking, because she knows that this one didn't work out through the agency, so she's scouring for candidates, and then John opened it up onto Indeed, so I don't know if we've got anything back on Indeed yet for candidates.
I didn't do that yet.
Okay, well,
Does the board want me to do that? I will.
It doesn't cost anything, I don't believe.
Not for the first 30 days, no.
Okay, so then you can do that too.
All right? So the mayor made an appointment to hire a contractor called a 1099 to do some work in the treasury job starting. She said she would be available Friday to do the vouchers. She told me that yesterday.
Okay.
So that's your appointment, Mayor?
Yes.
We have a motion to accept the mayor's temporary appointment.
I'll make that motion.
Trustee Lauricella, can I have a second?
I'll second.
Trustee Sadati. Roll call vote. Trustee Huber.
Well, I mean, we are stuck between a rock and a hard spot, and we gotta pay the bills, so I'm gonna say aye. But
Trustee Sadati.
Aye.
Trustee Lauricella.
Aye.
Trustee Ruffin.
I'll go with aye.
Trustee Tilisack.
I would like her to focus on payroll, vouchers, and the odd, and I will vote aye.
Trustee Nesnick.
I will vote aye, but the hours need to be overseen. I truly, you know, I think we have to have a little bit of a better structure as to what day things are going to be done on what day and what exactly we are going to get for the time. You know, she's been a full-time employee for a month and a half now. So in a month and a half now, I don't see a lot of, I know she stepped into not the best of circumstances, but there has not been a lot of progress from a few months ago to this month that we're in right now. So with that being said, there are specific things that we need to address, and we need to make sure that they happen. So I would like to see that we have more of a, not a few hours here, a few hours there, show up here, show up there. I would like to see you turn around, get a schedule, if she's available on Fridays or available on weekends, and like John said, the papers can't leave the office. So the work's gonna be done here. You're saying up to 37 hours, but it's quite obvious that she's got a full-time job that she can't give 37 hours. So she's gonna, it sounds to me like she's gonna be, that's not even an option. So it's gonna be a lot less on the hours. So if it's gonna be a lot less, then let's zero in on what we need her to do for those lot less hours. So I will vote yes, but I would like you to address those issues.
Okay, so, and I will vote aye for this, motion.
It's your appointment.
Right.
Okay.
And so, just to cover trustee Niznik's point, I think what we want to see then is, whenever she's coming into the office, what she is working on. Is that-
There has to be, this has to be done on this day. This is a priority. Here are the 5 things that need to be done. Once those are off the plate, here's the next 5 priorities that need to be done. And she actually is gonna have to help provide us with the answers to those priorities.
Okay, so,
So together with her, needs to be put together a plan as to how we move forward and what priorities we meet and what we take off the plate, because there's a lot on the plate, and it has to be taken off that plate in a manner to get things done in a timely way. So I don't know every single thing that's on that plate. Mike doesn't, Adam doesn't, Pat doesn't. So we need to rely on her, get the information that we do know, the information that we don't know, and set up a schedule and get these things addressed.
Okay, who's gonna do that?
Mayor, can I make a suggestion?
hold on, clerk. Yes.
The power to appoint and to actually terminate lies with you, subject to the board's approval, of course. So you can continue to look for a candidate who can commit more hours in the event that your current candidate cannot, commit.
Well,
That's what I
to that end, that's what I'm working on. I am working on right now until I hear back from anybody on a full-time position. I'm working on 2 part-timers.
Okay,
And whether or not we keep Dora after we get the 2 part-timers remains to be seen.
so we had the motion, the mayor made the appointment. You're going to set her priorities while she's here, right?
Yeah, I'll take input from the finance committee for sure.
Are there any other questions on appointments? So when I text her or call her tomorrow and tell her that she's a contractor?
I would hope it would be practical to have a regular schedule. So if she's gonna do Fridays, every Friday. Not this Friday, next Tuesday, the following Wednesday. Just a routine schedule.
Well, I don't think it's going to be Fridays if she has the 1 day, because unless she can get all the payroll hours in on the closeout on Friday. So, that,
A regular schedule, a
we
recurring.
want a regular schedule. So,
Well, you do understand that she does work from home. She's been doing payroll from home for the most part. Do know that? Okay. For this, Carrie, so I will notify her. For the sake of folks that are out here tonight, can we jump 3 or 4 items
Yes.
to the grease trap, so they're not here for the next few? They're gonna take some time. As you know, board, it's been on the agenda for several meetings, and I am receipt of a letter today from our village engineer, Todd Atkinson, who, not unlike previous waivers you have granted, is asking the board to grant based on some conditions. The recommendations are: the applicant's engineer has provided calculations that justify the grease trap sizing based on a triple basin sink within the light commercial kitchen. If the village board accepts the reasons provided by the applicant for installation of an internal grease trap, a waiver should be granted allowing the installation of the internal grease trap with the following conditions. And these are the same conditions he's done in the past. The restaurant use light commercial kitchen stays consistent with the as described by Gillespie Associates report dated November 29, 22. That's your engineer, Gillespie?
Yes.
Okay. All village engineer review comments listed above should be addressed prior to the issuance of the installation approval by the village building department. Brian knows that. Cleaning and maintenance of the grease trap should be completed in accordance with the manufacturer's cleaning and maintenance plan. The village building inspector and/or village engineer can perform grease trap maintenance inspections when necessary. So, based on our village engineer's report and the conditions he set forth, those conditions have to be met before you get a permit from our building inspector. But this board can permit the waiver tonight.
Can I ask Craig a question? Craig, is that language acceptable to allow for the village to gain access? Like it says that we're allowed to, I don't know what exactly it said, but it was kind of a simple sentence, but the one key stipulation that we've had in the past, and I think is imperative if we're going to allow this, is that we will not be denied access. And I just want to make sure that that legalese is there so that we know that the village and the village, agents can go in and confirm that the grease trap is being maintained, it's being cleaned, it's all the things that are supposed to be done, and there's no, to do about it. It just happens.
Yeah, and that's a good point. What you can do is you can incorporate the conditions within Todd Atkinson's letter as conditions of approval for this waiver. And that's what I would suggest you do, because what
This is, he's got a list of recommendations here, it's on there.
That's
on there.
It's on there, but what I'm saying is that sentence enough? Like it just says,
Yes.
you
This
have
is the village inspector
the
and or
village-
village and engineer can perform grease trap maintenance inspections when necessary.
is that adequate to allow us to do what that sentence is intended?
It's maintenance inspections, it's not cleaning, so it's not imposing an obligation on the village to do that, but yes, the village,
Well, no,
the
not
village,
that we're cleaning it, that we're making,
The
maintenance is
inspection.
cleaning, right? You're cleaning the grease trap. That's
we
the
have to
maintenance.
have the right to inspect, so.
I agree.
Um,
But that was traditionally and historically, that was one of the reasons why the internal grease traps were not part of our code.
okay,
And so I just am saying that sentence makes sense to me, probably makes sense to this gentleman here. However, things that make sense to us in the past, one of the trustees might say, hey, we gotta do this, and I'll say, well, that's not exactly what that says. And I'll say, well, it does say that, and I'll be like, no, it does say that, but that's not really what it says, and then we're left.
the grease trap is supposed to be tied to our sanitary system, all right? And in
Yeah.
this case, we have a right to police that and enforce, so yes, it would allow us to go in.
Okay, that's great. That's all I wanna know, that
It's in our
that sentence has enough teeth to allow Brian to go.
We have our
I
code.
will ask Brian tomorrow morning,
Okay.
and I'll get back with you.
Okay,
He could put the conditions in the permit as well.
okay.
So like the inspection schedule, if he wants to do whatever, annual inspection, biannual,
It could be,
Or just call him up on a Wednesday and say, I wanna take a look.
that works.
Yeah.
Well,
It-
those schedules are,
Great.
those schedules are,
No, this is really important.
I understand.
those schedules normally are precipitated by the amount of what that grease trap is going to hold, how much usage is
Well,
going.
actually, they're really precipitated by whether or not the vendor is caring for their property or not. I'm not suggesting this individual won't. I'm just past practice, past things that we've dealt with suggest that that's not always the case. So I just want to make sure that this applicant is doing the same thing and it's equitable, because in our past applicants that we made this concession to, we were very clear and made sure that that mechanism was in place. I just want to make sure that it's across the boards.
So Brian Murphy will put
Will be
these
aware. He
conditions-
will be aware.
He will be made aware, and he could put that language in his permit.
That's great.
Okay.
Well, that's what I'm
Can I have a motion from the board, to accept a waiver for Sarah's Mediterranean Grill internal grease trap,
I will make
as
that.
long as, trustee Lauricella, as long as it's consistent with our engineer's letter dated January 10, 23, with the conditions and recommendations. And I will also follow up with Brian to confirm that.
I will second that motion.
Trustee Sidoti, all in favor?
Aye.
Mayor votes aye.
Carried.
Good luck.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I'll make sure I spoke to Brian and also the engineer, but I'll make sure I keep it clean and maintain everything.
Wonderful.
Yeah, I spoke to Brian a few times. He came for inspection, and also the engineer. I'm ready for open the business. Been waiting for a long time, and this is
Your engineer held this board up for 3 months.
I know. It wasn't out of my control, and I didn't know.
Well, congratulations. This is
Thank you
great
very much.
news.
Good luck. I have.
You can do it.
Thank you very much.
Good luck.
Best of luck to you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for investing in the village.
Yeah, definitely. It's a nice family restaurant. Me, I have 4 kids, and my wife. It's a Mediterranean. It's a nice family restaurant in the village. And I moved here like 4 or 5 years ago. I have my kids. They go to.
Well, good luck with your restaurant, and best of luck to you
Where
and
is
your
it?
family.
Good luck to you and your family.
We're gonna
Good
come
luck,
visit.
sir.
Imperial Plaza,
We'll be there.
Okay.
It's up by,
The old bagel place over there.
where BX Bagels was.
Yeah.
Planet Fitness, right?
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Oh,
the Home Depot Plaza.
Well, we wish you the best. Good luck.
Good
good
luck.
luck.
Good luck to you.
Take care.
Thank you.
Okay, going back to the printed agenda.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. Yeah. They've invested all their money into that project.
Well, I'm gonna give them a lot of my money because I like Mediterranean food.
Stay on this page for a second here, because we're right here, so let's just, and then we'll go back to those couple on the other page.
All right, the next item, the mayor attended a tri-muni meeting, and if you look in your handout, we gotta flip through it now, because we're out of sync. Tri-muni, there's a huge project coming up, and the mayor would like to talk about the
Well, it's one of many,
$10 million projects.
it's one of many that is gonna happen, and this one is a smaller one, but nonetheless, this project is for work that looks like is going to start in end of April, perhaps May. So, the total cost is going to be $660,000,
58.
$660,000, basically, say. It's the sludge digestion improvements. So, This is to be shared, this project is shared by the 3 municipalities who use the sewer plant. The village, the town of Poughkeepsie, and the town of Wappinger. So the total expected cost, if they do this item, is $658,000. If they do alternates, which it appears they may not do, because that doesn't get the whole project done, it's less. So, if you take the $658,000 and do a quick math on 37%, because that would be about our share of the cost. Town of Wappinger pays a larger amount than us, and then Town of Poughkeepsie pays somewhere between 12 and 14%. So we would owe approximately 37% on this amount. So in one of the other treasurer duties is bank accounts and balances, and to see how much money we have, if it will be conceivably possible to throw any money against what we have in those accounts, or do we have to bond the project? So that's another item, and I've already put that on my list because we have to review the sewer fund, because in the context of the Route 9 sewer project, with this change order, we are going to be over the amount we had allocated for the project. So we have to dovetail in the 2 projects into the total cost to see if we have enough finances to pay these when the bills come due. Now, there is a fund balance at the sewer plant that's owned by the 3 municipalities. And so I'm going to see and try to get at least the village, whatever share of our fund balance is the village, to get what I can get sent back to the village. That surplus is paid every quarter when we pay our quarterly bill, and then at the end of the year, the extra adds to a fund balance. So I don't know if they've taken any surplus in the last 2-3 years. I haven't seen anything where they have taken anything from it since I've been mayor. So that little fund balance has grown larger. But even if it's only $100,000 to $150,000 of what we have, that will pay something towards the project. I just want you to be aware of that, because that's an item that's going to happen probably at the end of April, and we should, and the board should be aware of that, so that there's no misunderstanding that this is an obligation that we're going to have to do. I mean, it's more for the next board's due diligence, and so at least you're aware of it. But this project is going to be done probably by the middle of 2023. So you could pencil in 37%. That should be a firm number. So, you know, it looks like on the rough side of that. I see Mike's got his calculator out. So how much is 37% of that number, Mike?
Do we have to pay more than the other municipalities that we have 37% as opposed to 33%?
It's all based on flow.
So we pay more? You said it was I thought it was 3 equal, but it's not.
No, it's not 3
Okay.
equal. There's 3 municipalities using the sewer plant, and every cost is based upon consumption, how much they use.
About 220,000.
220?
About a little bit more than 220.
Okay. So if there's $100,000 sitting down at the plant in a surplus of fund, and we can tap it, that's what I intend to do. And I will start that process this coming Tuesday.
Thanks for the update.
All right. Thank you, Mayor. Approval to hire part-time police officer Sean McNeil to step 3 at $29.65 per hour.
Yeah, so the committee had met with the commissioner. If you'd like to come and say something, that'd be great, but this individual was hired.
Well, he was a former full-time officer from 2008 to 2013, and he transferred down to the town of Newcastle, where he presently works, and he lives in LaGrange, so he's local. He'd like to come back and work for Wappingers again. So looking forward to him. It won't be a long training period, since he's familiar with everything around here, and he can be, fill up some of our slots that we're having trouble filling. We had interviews last week for 3 retired officers. 2 of them after the interview weren't interested. One said he's supposed to be filling out the application to do a background on him. He's actually from Nassau County. He retired from there. I don't know why he's coming always up here, but he is. So if we can, we still have like 3 more positions we need to fill. It's not going to be easy to find.
Well, I can honestly say after the police committee met, I believe we were all on board. It seemed to make sense at the time, so it's the committee's recommendation that we support the commissioner, and his recommendation we hire Officer McNeil.
Is that a motion?
So I'll make that motion.
I believe we have to get an MOA for the union, since he's starting over. Am I correct, Craig?
We've done it in the past. Last time I was here, we did it, and there wasn't a problem with the union.
It's advisable, yeah.
What's a step 1, the salary?
I think it's like $26, something like that.
Step 1, is that
Yeah.
26?
Yeah, somewhere around there.
He's a lateral, is he a lateral?
No, he's not a lateral. He's just coming in with experience of 15 years experience.
And he's still employed at Newcastle?
Yes, he is. If he laterals, that would be civil service.
The union needs to approve this.
Not doing that.
So, why don't you can make the hire subject. Conditional on an MOA.
Okay.
All right, I'll talk to the union tomorrow.
And we'll talk to Brooke and the M.
Can we go ahead and second that based on?
Well, you gotta make the motion.
So I'm making the motion to hire Officer McNeil with the condition that the union accepts the step increase at step 3, which the commissioner is going to reach out to the PBA tomorrow and hopefully get the positive response.
I talked to him in the past, and I was a problem, so.
I will second Trustee Loricella's motion.
Just on a question before the vote, who's paying for the MOA?
PBA.
The PBA pays for the MOA?
Well, they'll write it up.
Okay.
What is an MOA?
Memorandum of
Agreement.
It's an
What's on
abbreviation.
it?
I'm not sure about that.
I'm not sure about that either.
I think we pay for it.
I think
Yeah.
we pay for it.
It's employment,
What is it?
What's that?
part of our employment practice, so.
Okay, well, sometimes they do pay. I've seen it done where the union pays for an MOA.
Well, whoever's got to pay for it will pay for it.
Okay.
Right? We need to have an officer. Hopefully they will be agreeable.
Okay.
You do need
There we are.
I just thought I'd ask a question, that's all.
Oh, I get it.
All in
No
favor?
one knows the
Aye.
answer. Aye.
Aye.
Mayor votes aye.
Carried. When's he start? He gotta do a oath of office.
I'll talk to him tomorrow and make that right.
He can reach out to me at any time.
Okay.
I make myself available weekends if he's got to work.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay.
We're gonna talk briefly too about the cameras.
Oh, yeah,
You
I
don't
want
need
to
to wait
talk about
around.
that. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Approval to hire Mr. Adam Delaney as a standby diesel mechanic at a pay rate of 80 per hour and time and a half for anything over 8 hours in any one particular day. I met with the highway superintendent, I met with the highway foreman. They really need somebody right now. They don't have anyone.
I got a couple questions on this also. The number one question
Yes.
would be, could we put a hold on anything over the 8 hours? Would be a time and a half?
Well, I think the
I
way
mean, he's not coming in full time.
Right, I just want to jump in on that one thing. This guy, let's just say our plow truck breaks down during the winter, and he has to work on it for 9 hours to get it back in service for a snowstorm. He's just gonna have to it's gonna have to be at the discretion of our highway super. If they need them, we can have a discussion with him and say, we'd rather not pay time and a half if it's not necessary. Let's not. It's his budget. He should be able to. What if we put that on there and then we can't?
I understand.
It just seems like it's crazy because it's up front in your face, but
Yeah.
normal stuff like him coming in to do minor repairs, I think we could have a conversation to say that we're not gonna take it to that level.
And has the personnel committee interviewed this gentleman?
Well, the other thing is, I touched base with Trustee Niznik on this. We don't actually interview the tree cutters when they put a bid in. So we thought that by the highway super and the
So
foreman,
we're gonna put this guy down time as a tree work.
he's basically his independent contractor.
Yeah, 1099. Yeah.
With insurance and everything.
All
he
that.
needs to-
All right.
Just like Dora.
And we can terminate at any time, right? If we want to make a change and he's
Anytime.
not working out.
Yeah. The board asked me to advertise it. I advertised it for 3 weeks in a row now.
How many did we get?
One hit.
This guy?
And he comes recommended by the
Highly
staff, so.
Very highly recommended.
Village boy, he's a good man.
Comes highly recommended by these ladies, so it's gotta be good.
We wouldn't want to stay that way then.
Far be it for us.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, mayor votes aye.
Oh, I didn't get a vote on that. Can I have a vote?
You would need a motion?
Say yes.
I forgot.
Do you need a roll call?
No, I just need a vote. I need someone to make a motion.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Who seconded it?
Adam.
Adam Warasella, trustee, third ward.
For now.
For now. Carried. Okay. I sent a letter out that I received from the governor's office about tax exemptions, some percentage of a tax exemption for volunteer firefighters and volunteer ambulance workers on their land tax. We don't have an assessing body here in the village. That will be done by the towns, town of Poughkeepsie, town of Wappinger. When they approve it, then it'll come down to those folks. So I don't know what the towns are doing about this at the moment.
So if you're a volunteer firefighter, do you have to be in the village or can you be outside the village? I think we have some volunteers that don't live here.
I'd like to make a comment.
Okay,
So,
I'd like to hear from the attorney weigh in on this too.
okay.
So it's my understanding from the information that I have received, since we don't have an independent assessor and we are part of the assessing body of each of our respective towns, the town of Poughkeepsie and the town of Wappinger would have to opt in and pass a local law. If they do not, then that particular employee will not receive the exemption on that town tax, but the village tax, if we opt in, it will receive a discount on the village tax.
So we need a local law to do that, or do we wait?
We need a local law, and it has to be passed by March 1st. So we would need to schedule this public hearing, and I have to draft the local law for your approval for the February meeting, no later than the workshop meeting.
All right, I can do that.
So if you have a volunteer that lives in the town of Poughkeepsie and you're doing this for the village, that wouldn't
We're in
include
February
that.
8th.
They would not be subject to a village tax anyway.
Only if you live in the village?
Only, yeah.
So has this been brought up to the town of Wappingers and town of Poughkeepsie?
I've reached out to the respective attorneys there to find out the temperature of their respective boards as to whether or not they're going to pass a local law authorizing that exemption. Regardless, the village can move forward on their own and it would affect the village tax.
Same percent?
Yes.
Okay, better than nothing.
It's better than nothing. It's not a lot, but
Yeah.
it's something. In recognition of, their
Well, we get reimbursed back from the state on this.
yeah.
All right, the board wants me to establish a hearing for February 8th for a local law to enact.
I'll make the motion that you establish a local law.
Okay.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, mayor votes aye.
Carried.
I'll have a draft of that local law on your desk at least a week before the meeting.
It's got to be at least a week before, and can Sandy give me a legal notice that I can put in the paper,
Yeah.
like tomorrow or Friday? So Southern Dutchess News runs every Wednesday, so I have to have it in the paper as soon as possible, please. Okay, this is a correspondence I received from William T. Garner, January 9th. The company is voting in Carmine Barone as a member of the company. Can you acknowledge accepting that correspondence?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Philissette? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Mayor votes aye.
Before we do the monthly updates, we'll go back to the printed portion of the agenda. In your handout packet, you'll see a couple of forms in there that came from the tax department.
I don't
Yeah?
see them in here.
Put them in there.
Do you see them in there?
No, that's the tax form, correct? Did not see it in here.
This?
No.
Maybe
They're not, I mean, we have copies. I have them on my email.
Okay, there's a couple of forms that
Talk about this briefly, because
you should all,
I need to go to my car for a minute. If
Go to
we're,
your car.
if we're gonna
In the
discuss
meantime, I
this
have the
item.
forms with me.
We jumped around, so we have to get back to this. We jumped around on this.
Well, no, we've got a couple items, that's it on this page.
Okay.
All right, so as we know, one of the items on our plate that we need to clean up is getting these taxes that were not credited to the residents. So there is a list that's been produced of people where say the taxes weren't paid. That's not true for everybody on this list.
That's correct.
So after talking to Kathleen up at the county, what needs to be done is first thing we need to do is generate a letter that Craig Wallace is going to do. He's going to generate a letter, send a letter out to everybody that's on this list.
Am I still on that list?
No,
Better not be.
Well, there's a lot of people on this
Sorry,
list.
let me go to my car. I have the list that the county sent us.
I have the forms.
What does it even matter? We're not gonna talk about the people's names.
Anyway, it's the
Well,
people.
I'm not here.
No, now I'm
still
not
on.
directed at you. You're just told you weren't on. I'm just saying we don't need to list it from his car right now.
Right. Basically, what needs to happen is we need to generate a letter. We need to notify everybody on this list that their taxes, there might have been an incident that your taxes weren't credited to you. So with that being said, the person after receiving that list needs to come to us, produce either a canceled check or something from their bank saying that they paid their taxes. There's a form that goes along with that they have to fill out and submit up to Dutchess County. Once that is done, they will be taken off the list. If you don't produce the check, canceled check, or the proof that you paid the taxes, chances are you belong on this list, so you'll stay there.
The original list had 129 names of people who didn't pay their taxes.
You're not on it, I just looked at it.
Okay?
The list is right here, I have the list.
Okay, I'm just.
And normally, in a normal year, the number is between 50 and 70. So there's like 60 more names who didn't pay. Allegedly didn't pay because there's no documentation that they got paid. So, to that end, I have been contacting the people, and I've got, I think it's 18 of those names where they've given me verifiable proof, a copy of
But Mayor, they shouldn't be giving it to you. They should, as of this afternoon, when I called up to county, one person has been taken off the list, legitimately. That's what she told me. One person has legitimately been taken off the list. What needs to happen is they need to produce that evidence, they need to fill out the proper form, and they, not us, they need to hand deliver it to Dutchess County.
Well, the sad thing is the people that weren't delinquent have to go through all that.
I understand that, but this is, we had to identify the process. There's actually another deadline coming up for the 28th of February, so that there's no other penalties assessed and grief that goes along with this. All I can say is we need to get the information out to the people that are on this list. It's been long enough. We need to generate a letter. We need to, calling people at this particular point, let's just generate the letter and send it to everybody. Generate the letter, send it to everybody, let everybody be aware of the fact that there might be something wrong with their taxes, let them come to the office, give us the proof, obtain the letter, fill it out, and do what needs to be done. Because taking any more time with this is just ridiculous. Most of the people haven't even been notified. So if 19 were notified, that's all good and dandy, but they still haven't done the proper thing they need to do to get it rectified. So let's get a letter, let's get it out to everybody who needs a letter so people can start coming in with their proof, and let's get this done.
Are you gonna send the forms with the letter?
Of apologies.
Yes, that's probably.
That would probably be the better thing to do. I think that we should open ourselves up a little to maybe help somebody that might be on that list that might have trouble with that letter. So I wouldn't want to turn anybody away that said, I'm not, some people just don't like filling out forms.
Well, that form, unless I'm mistaken, is an electronically fill-outable form, but it can be printed, is that correct?
Listen, let's try to make this as easy as possible.
Oh, I agree.
Provide it, don't let them go out and have to dig for it, search for it. If we can provide it, let's provide it. If somebody needs help filling it out, let's help fill it out. But I was told they have to personally drop it off themselves. It can't be delivered by us.
That's sad. It's really sad because that was the village's fault.
Well,
Thank you for doing that.
we didn't know the extent of this until the county produced the delinquent list.
Do we need a motion to make this letter?
And so when the delinquent list got generated, I just looked and I saw that person's paid, that person, because I just know that these people pay their taxes. And then I saw a real big issue with one of the people who's on the list, but it didn't get picked up. It didn't get picked up when he sold the property.
Well, the people that did pay are in the same boat as the people that didn't pay. So let's get them the information, I think most of the people are gonna be shocked to even hear it, because not everybody even knows it's happening. Okay, so let's get them the information, let's get the letter out to everybody that's on this list. This way we can start this process, because on February 28th, a whole nother round of penalties are assessed to that tax.
But as long as you fill out the form, you will get credit.
Let's not prolong it any longer than that.
I understand, but don't make it sound like they're gonna be tacked more money if,
No, another tax will go on there.
It will go on.
They'll eventually get credit for it,
28th.
but on the 28th is when the new penalties all come out. So her suggestion to me was try to get this all in by the 28th.
It's fixable.
it's fixable.
It's fixable, let's just do it. We
We
just
know
gotta
it's
do it.
fixable.
We're beating the dead horse.
Alright, quick question. If you are on the list, right? Okay, whatever, you get the form. Where do you bring it, to here or the town?
You can bring it right up to the county. You have to bring it to the county.
Alright, but how about if these people can't drive? How do they get there? Can't you guys offer to bring it here?
It was,
Isn't that the accountant's?
listen, we can handle that on an individual basis if it happens, and we can try to be helpful. The suggestion from the county, from Kathy at the county, was that it is brought up to the county by the resident,
Okay.
Not the town, the county.
County.
the county.
I'm at the county. What do you say, the town? Sorry. But can't the county come down here for the village resident?
It doesn't work like that.
You know, it's a little easier. We pay county taxes. They should come down here to us. If we owe them, shouldn't they? Instead of us getting up there? What do you think? Is there handicap parking? If people need to be, is there enough parking for them to park?
Probably. There's probably enough.
Do you know, is that, do you know it by heart?
Does
Do you
it
know
have
it
to
by
go up
heart?
there by hand carried, or can it be mailed?
I did not ask her that question, but I'm sure it could be mailed. Me personally?
Sure, it could be
We'll
emailed.
have all the options put in the letter.
It can be
Yeah.
scanned.
We can put
all that
the,
in.
For the safe side, you know what? Bring it up there. With the mail
me
tonight,
personally, I'd want to drop it off, but I'm sure.
I would too.
I'm
I
sure
would
if it
too.
was
Well,
mailed
see,
up there or
see?
emailed up there,
It's
but
paid.
we will
Boom.
look into that and put the options in the letter.
It's easier to just, here it is, I paid it, see? Instead of mailing it, 'cause when you get your mail, sometimes you don't get your mail at all.
Okay.
All right. Now,
Do you need a motion for this letter?
To go out at such and such a date or something.
it's a process. It's already a process.
So you don't need a motion?
I don't believe so. We'll just do it.
Do it. It's a process.
we'll just-
Everybody does
We
it.
need an
We'll just generate a letter.
local law?
All right, Lori Java has been working with the court on the school bus situation,
Yeah.
and they want to change their local law, or create a new local law that will allow the fines, much more of the fine to be able to remain here with the village as opposed to going somewhere else. So she's put in a lot of time into it. I need the board to,
Well, really, but more importantly, we need to establish the bureau. And maybe Craig can speak to it if I don't do it well enough. But we don't actually have a traffic violation bureau in place,
every part of local law.
though.
Right, so if anybody so if anybody contests a ticket and they go to court, we can't process it, so there's a $250 court charge that currently, trustee Lauricell is absolutely right. Since we can't process it, if you contest a ticket like this, if you pass a bus and you lose, you pay that $250 not to the municipality, that money goes to the state, because technically, right now, we have no vehicle to process those fines.
It creates a local jury.
So,
Wait, quick question. Who hands the summons if you get stopped passing the school?
they get the summons in the mail.
Right.
Buy from who?
The camera.
The camera.
The camera
county,
processing.
the county.
It's all automatic, yeah.
So make sure you look at the top of the bus if you drive.
Oh, hey, honey, I stop. I work for the school district. I stop.
That's the key, just stop.
Yeah, but some trucks are, you know, and I see them in the morning too,
Stop.
on Route 9.
So,
That's where the top.
so anyway, we need to establish the bureau, and it's imperative that this happens, so,
I need to set up a public hearing.
yeah, we need to set up the public hearing. And Lori did create the chapter, which is still to be determined, but the Traffic Violation Bureau, she created, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, Craig,
I have to tweak a couple things.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna have to repeal our existing chapter 32 and then substitute this new revision, this new local law for chapter 32.
as I understand it, this is something where, time is of the essence, and Ms. Java would like to have it handled as swiftly as possible.
And to that point, is it technically possible to put this on the workshop meeting in this, end of this month?
A hearing?
I don't even know if you have enough time to. No, you won't have enough time to advertise.
Takes a lot. So how about the February meeting? We don't have enough time for that?
90 days we need?
Usually, some of these, they even take longer.
Well, we can't be held responsible for
Do the workshop,
Past-
February.
past
Put this on for the
oversight.
workshop.
But we're doing the best we
Workshop?
can.
Okay. Public hearing?
Public hearing. We have such a heavy agenda for the February at the moment with the comp plan.
February regular meeting or?
If the
Yeah.
if the comp plan goes through, you're right.
Well,
But it'll go through.
February,
It has to
February
go.
22, it'd be Feb 22.
We can't dangle things anymore.
all right, approval 30-day waiver for Norma's Corner Shop to sell liquor, cider, and beer, alcoholic beverages.
I'll make the
Brian,
motion. I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
Let's go.
seconded by trustee Larissella, all in favor?
Aye.
Mayor votes aye.
We have to go back, board, to the public hearing for the comp plan.
Yeah.
Attorney Wallace, you want to speak about that?
Yes, I received an email just now from Michelle Gregg, who's our consultant for this comp plan. And she explained the order of business that needs to be done. We left this an important step out, so I'm going to frame the motion for you, but basically the board has to authorize the village planning and zoning consultants to send the revised document, the revised comp plan, to Dutchess County Planning and Village Planning Board for required reviews under statute. So
We need to do that tonight?
we have to authorize it, yes. So all we have to do is once a workable document is crafted, you are instructing and authorizing the village planning and zoning consultants to send the revised plan to Dutchess County Planning and the Village Planning Board for required review and comment. So a motion to that effect.
I make a motion that we authorize the village planning committee to send the
Revised plan.
revised plan to the county.
I'm second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Who has the revised plan?
Mayor votes aye.
It is not yet in final format, but it will be
I
shortly.
have a pretty close
Yeah,
draft.
there's a
We don't want this to go on another year.
No, it's almost done. The end is near.
It's gonna be finalized on January 18th. That's what she said.
Okay,
January 18th?
Yeah.
January 18th.
I'll believe it when I see it. And then I'll believe it.
And then they
Well,
got.
I will just make a quick thing. They had asked me to participate in this final meeting. My schedule was such that I couldn't make it. I incorrectly thought that they would be having the meeting without me, as I had given all of my notes concisely via email and hadn't been an original member of the committee. I was thinking they would just move on without me. So I will take some blame that this week the meeting that didn't happen was because they were waiting for me and I could not carve out the time to be with them. So I apologize for this delay that I contributed to. I've told them, please, in the future, do not wait for me. I'm able to get in touch with electronically. Everyone has my thoughts. I've had extensive conversations with members on the committee, and so it shouldn't happen again.
Clerk Karj, the only thing I would ask is if you could assist in having the document uploaded to the county ramp system, or ask, anybody who has the
Mercedes.
Mercedes. That would be appreciated, so there's no further delay.
What's that system called?
Ramp.
Ramp?
R-A-M-P.
Yeah, like a car.
She's still our only ramp user.
Nobody else has a need for it.
I thought Heather was trained on it, but
I don't know, I'll check with her. All right. We did all of that.
Go to the monthly updates.
Police?
Yeah, so, one, important item that I gave each one of you, your own, bids. The commissioner's coming up, I think he's gonna speak about it. Essentially, we did get 2 bids for the much-needed camera system in Vets Field, and I will let Commissioner Burke take it away.
Okay, and did the other one come in right after you said you got a second one? Yeah, guy finally finished up with the other one.
I have 2. Doyle and Managed Technologies.
Yeah, the Managed Technologies is the company that does our IT work in the police station. It's the first one to submit. This system will be a DVR at the building. If an incident happens and we see damage to the building, we can go in there, download on the thumb drive what the time period might have been involved when the incident happened, and we can see possibly who the suspects are based on the mounting of the cabinets. That's going to be the cameras. Hopefully we'll have a good angle to do that. The second company was also, the name of the second company.
Doyle?
No, Doyle was the third one. He's a little bit more expensive, so you do have those three.
Managed Technology.
And that's it, just Managed Technology.
I only had Managed and Doyle. Maybe I overlooked one.
The second one that's missing is a little bit more expensive than the Managed Technologies. The Doyle one is pretty good, but they're more expensive. In other words, the officer just pulls up there and he can download everything into the police car. He doesn't have to get out and do it, but it's a lot more expensive. One of the companies, they all want to come in and get all these fancy Wi-Fi and all this internet stuff, but it would cost a lot more money to do something like that. So this is the most economical way of getting possible images of someone doing damage to that building.
In your opinion, and I apologize, guys, for not having that third one. I don't know how I missed that, but is there a order of which one you think is?
Well, Anthony, who does Managed Technology, works great with us. We know if we have a problem, we can call him up and settle whatever issues we have right away. I'm not familiar with the other 2 companies. I just went down and tried to find somebody.
And Managed was the cheapest?
He was the cheapest, Managed Technologies, who does ours. The other 2 are slightly more, and the final Doyle one is a lot more, it's like over 10,000.
Yeah, slightly over 10.
Yeah.
But versus almost 8, so
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like...
It's not a lot, but like I said, we're familiar with Anthony's work.
And Anthony is managed, is that correct?
Yes, it is.
And that's, do you think that after, I mean, I reviewed the quote, but is what the package offers?
Well, they're pretty much all similar.
Viable?
Yeah. Just that one Doyle would have a router there, which would, as I said, transmit the images or information to the police car, he also doesn't have to get out.
But never to the station. None of them would go to the station.
No, none of the station. If you want something like that, like I said, you have to get internet access there, a real big cost factor. And we can't really rely on the dispatcher looking at the screen.
I'm sorry, could you speak up just a little?
We can't rely on the dispatcher having a screen looking at it constantly 24 hours to see what's going on. If something happens, we'll know a time period. We can print it out and see hopefully a suspect that we can, question or track down.
Does that digital file overwrite itself every X period? How does
I
that
believe it's
work?
like a 30-day.
30?
But our officers are required, that's one of the checks they have to do, that post, they have to check that building on their post. So if they see the damage, we'll narrow down the time period.
That should be plenty sufficient. 30 days.
And so I'm not sure, and have to just directly ask the mayor if you, or if any of you wanted to vote. I will just say that this was tasked, the initial quote, Managed Technologies, our previous commissioner, Ferry, made contact with them about this. We've been talking about this for, close to, I don't know, for a very long time. I would say well over a year. This quote is the company that currently handles all of our security for the police department, technology, security for the police department. And that was one thing I think was important, for the police department to be using someone that does that specifically and has a relationship with police departments. And they also happen to be the lesser of the three bids. So, it's my recommendation that we do put this in place. And I know that there was a brief conversation with Trustee Tilichek where he thought perhaps the rec committee or the rec funding. Maybe you could speak to that, John?
I support it entirely. I think it's a great idea. But if rec is paying for it, I'd like to bring it to the rec committee. There is a rec committee meeting on Monday. I can bring it there, make sure that there's no other concerns on that matter, and we move forward from there.
Adam, I believe at one time you discussed with taking it out of the bus fund.
I did. Yeah, I did. I said, he just mentioned.
What's in rec to be paying for it at a rec.
Yeah, I don't know. He just said it to me when I was standing there. That was the
So
first
I'm
time I
not
heard
sure, where would we pay for it out of? If it's not coming out of rec, then I'll vote on it right now.
it. My thought was we could utilize this windfall we've had, which is substantial, tens of thousands of dollars that we've already captured from the bus program, which is safety, it's new monies, and we don't have to, it's not earmarked for anything particular. Once it becomes our money, it can be spent at our discretion.
There's two things, we started talking about using that money for. One of them was the cameras. We do have totals of what is actually in. We recently got those, so it's about 10 or 12,000. So we'll have to take a quick look at it.
We received other monies prior.
But what's 10 or 12,000?
The recent.
That's just the recent one.
The recent ones that we collected.
I think we have.
That's over. That fund is over $20,000.
The recent ones that just came in were 10. I wasn't aware of them.
Okay.
Yeah, well, I
amounts
think
of
we
the
had
previous
20-something before that. I think we're in the 30s.
If we're gonna take it out of there, I'd make the motion right now to do it.
Whoa. How much is it gonna be coming out of rec?
Nothing.
I just have, we don't have the money in rec for that. I just have a quick question on the.
But you can use recreation fees for equipment.
Sure you can.
And so there is some restricted recreation fee money.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were just talking about recreation.
No, the recreation fee.
Well, the rec fees, I think currently, I think we have 100 and,
We have money in the.
we have plenty in restricted rec funds, and I think the thought was because it's in our park,
Right.
That's really.
anytime somebody creates a new dwelling, anytime someone builds a new building, we charge a considerable amount of money that's restricted just for recreation.
I thought he meant the rec, like
No, not the rec line.
recreation. You're not getting nothing out of that.
No, we don't have
No, we're
that.
not.
But
I have a question on, for the managed. I noticed on the other one, there's a monthly fee. What's the monthly fee on managed? I don't, am I not seeing it?
I think the other company had a Doyle Liner had a monthly.
So there is no monthly fee? Okay.
I don't believe there is.
Is there
I
something
mean,
where, is there
might be a
something?
fee- There might be a fee that if something goes wrong with the camera,
Right, but there's a standard monthly fee for Doyle, but there's no standard monthly fee for the other one. Is there something that we're missing out that Doyle would have given us for a monthly fee, or?
yeah, I read his contract twice. He gave us a number of over 10,000, but then he also has like a monthly fee.
So there's no service agreement or lease payment with the managed? Okay.
so we would own those as opposed
It
to
would
leasing.
fall under the department's policy.
Well,
right?
well, just so you're aware, the monthly fee is the payment plan to pay that off. It's leased equipment, or it's not to pay that off, it's leased equipment.
That's under Doyle.
Doyle, so
Doyle.
the monthly fee is how you pay for it.
Right.
So, but the $8,000 with the other one is just paying it off?
And we would own the
We would
equipment.
own it.
If it
So
breaks,
there's
we
no
have to
further
replace
Which I
payment?
don't know if there's a benefit to that or not. I think personally, the only real benefit that I see with Managed Technologies versus the Doyle is that Managed Technologies has been battle tested with a relationship with the village that the police department's happy with. That was my only thought. I mean, the $2,000 is kind of negligible in my opinion. You know, you could go either way. But if we're just shooting in the dark with the other company and we don't know anything about Doyle,
We got a lot of Doyle. A
Huh?
lot.
we what?
We have a lot of work with Doyle.
No, but I mean for the police department, because
Oh,
the
well,
concern,
they don't, but the
the
village has
concern
to.
was at one time in the police committee that there's a certain, sensitivity to keeping it with, an outfit that is experienced in, law enforcement, data retrieval, storage, and such like that.
I would be a little concerned about, if something breaks and we just own it. So
Yeah.
if it broke for Doyle, would they replace it?
Well, yeah, in
And the
that time
250
period
would
that
just
we
be
leased
covering
once
it?
Once we paid it off, we would be on our own. So,
Well, do you ever pay it off or are you leasing it?
I think you're leasing it at some point.
Lease to buy?
For property.
Well, on Doyle, they have what's listed as a service charge, a service agreement, excuse me, which leads me to believe it breaks,
They're
you're
gonna
gonna
fix
call
it.
them, you come out.
Okay, so then probably what we need to do is take more time with this.
It's not that bad. I mean, the Doyle quote, they give you 6 cameras. The Managed Technology, you get 8.
I'm just talking about the maintenance of it.
I get it.
If we pay the managed in the back and we pay them off and we buy it, we own it, every time they come out, do we pay for it? If something's wrong, do we pay for
There's
it?
not,
In the station.
yeah, there's not much here on that.
So is that a per hour price that
Yeah,
they?
it would be a
they-
per hour,
So
or-
I would think that would have to be added into that at the
Okay, I
back.
can
So
check
in
with
other
Anthony
words,
on that and get back to you.
so we can take a look and say if something goes wrong, we're paying
$95 an hour for 2 technicians to install. I mean, the truth of the matter is, whenever you buy technology, you're gonna have to fix it,
Yeah.
and that costs money.
You have to pay for a warranty.
Well, I'm just trying to figure out what's the best. Do you
Yeah.
want the warranty or we want to just pay as we go?
The 5-year cost on the Doyle is gonna be for the total monthly fees, so it's like a 60-month term. So that would be $14,400 plus the $1,600 installation fee. So the 5-year cost of that is, $16,000, which is, I mean, you might, I don't know about these systems, so I don't know, just,
It's more than double of Managed
Double the amount
Technology.
of-
yeah.
So chances are you won't
How
call
long does it
repair for
last?
that much.
I don't know.
So that's what I'm trying to find out. The chances are you won't call for
Our
repair.
in-house cameras, I can just.
The camera's gonna be obsolete by
Very rarely.
the end of the year anyways, because there's always new
Yeah, I
technology.
mean, in 5 years, the thing's gonna be a paperweight anyway.
Yeah, I think the Doyle one with the service contract is probably the way to go, honestly. Call them, they take care of it. Sounds good to me.
But it's $17,000 versus 7.
I know. Potato, potato? What do you recommend?
I mean, my recommendation is to listen to the department head's
If the
recommendation.
police are
There you go.
using managed and they like
Which is
managed.
managed, so.
I'd like to make a motion
go.
to hire a man to put cameras
The
in
other
the
one,
fence.
Doyle sounds nice because
Okay,
you also
you
you have
said-
hard and download things, you
I
just
second.
download.
Yeah, let's get it done.
Yeah, just stop talking about it, let's be about it.
I don't
Who made the motion?
I made the motion.
What are we paying it out of though?
What?
Where are we
Managed
paying it from?
Technology says.
I would take the money, which I've already spoken to Lori, if we did get a pass through, that we could use the money from bus. Does everyone agree to use it from bus?
Yeah, I agree.
I agree.
Sounds money, sure, let's do it.
Using bus money to pay for it, okay. That's the motion, right?
You make the motion, I'll second it.
It was made and seconded. Made by Huber, seconded by Laura Sella.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Carried.
Police department works with the guy, we can, you know.
Finance, trustee Laura Sella.
Just have one more quick thing.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Trustee
Just one more quick thing.
We have a question.
Hold on, sure. No, he wants to say one other thing.
You should go first.
Go ahead.
I would like to ask the commissioner and the village board if they would go back to the monthly reports that we used to have from the police department with accidents and stuff like that.
I do get them, and we were asked not to air our dirty laundry.
That's
It's not dirty laundry.
We should be
A lot of
able to
people,
be,
John, a lot of people want to know, like, what's going on. How many
The
people
thought
know
process
that-
was, the
How many
thought
people
process
know
of,
what happened the other night?
are you looking at me
on
for?
our streets?
No, I was just looking at the empty room.
Uh-huh,
the thought process
I just
was
don't.
that if you put it out there,
it's true.
people that may want to move into our community say, wow, I don't know if I want to move
Well, I
there.
keep
But you know what, no, but
I
quick
mean, that's like a
question.
secret.
What happened?
Why don't you put a dummy police car down there and say, scare the guys out? So, you know, hey, park's
The other night we
closed.
had,
Maybe the cops patrol the neighborhood a little
The
more.
commissioner knows, we had cars ransacked, a truck was stolen on our street, that people, he was on our street going through, and, yeah. Now, 1:30 this morning, an officer did come down my street, and he had huge bright lights at 1:30 in the morning. I thought it was daylight, and I'm happy that he come down, I really am, because very seldom they don't come down my street. But people want to know what's going on in the village with our department.
we should
We're
be
paying the
aware of
taxes.
all this going on. Why would you say dirty laundry, John?
Yeah.
Well, the thought process
This
was
is
that you would,
what's happening.
the thought process was that if you put that out there and somebody wants to move to the village of Wappingers Falls, and they look at that and say, wow, there's
They
a
don't
lot
wanna
of
move on
crime
my
going
street.
on there. I don't think, I'm just telling you
You
what,
mean to tell me that
wasn't what,
people haven't bought houses in the village because of this?
I don't know. That was,
No.
that was the thought process. It doesn't matter to me.
Joe knows it's hard to sell in the village.
No kidding, still there.
I mean, we did it for how many years?
Yeah, and then all of
We
a
did it for how
sudden.
many years?
This particular administration said, don't do it. If the
Okay.
next administration wants to do it,
Well,
then
Fishkill does it, they do
The
police blotter.
taxpayers are paying for our department.
no.
I think we
did
have a
it
great
for a long
department. I
time,
do.
and then we were
I do.
stuck.
What?
Well, I don't know, but that's the answer.
So it's not.
No, I explained why it's not there.
But can we go back to it? That's what I'm asking.
I don't know. Not my,
Okay.
not my
Not
vote.
your decision? Okay.
But
It's a
you
board,
only-
it's a
you
the
only
board
raised
decides.
You know, to tell you the truth, I think like a month ago, I did do it. Sometimes I do it. If I get the email,
I never heard,
well, that's okay, but
I've never
There's
heard
never
that.
been one on here.
I used to put it
if you
on.
go back.
Yes,
on-
you
Well, this is what we're saying. It was on
It
here.
was.
We want it back.
A lot of people would like it back, not
Put a
just us.
newspaper.
If the village board decides that you want it back on there, I will put it back on there.
Well, I think that should be up to the village residents at this point.
You're gonna have to get used to it.
I don't know. You know,
You can reach out to your trustee and go work it that way, I guess. I don't know.
I get copies once a month. I don't get them though. Haven't got one in a while.
At least we knew there was call-outs and there were ships that weren't covered.
That's still happening.
Yeah.
Or how many tickets,
You
or
know.
how many accidents, or how
I get
many
it,
break-ins.
I get it every month.
Why
Which is
can't
going
we
on
be aware
now.
of that?
You were aware of it, and this board decided not to do it.
John, we're
We
just-
take it under advisement?
You're repeating yourself. I know we were aware.
Well, you're
I'm saying
repeating yourself,
why.
after you asked me.
But I'm saying, why can't we?
I think we should discuss in the
You
executive
can, the
session.
board needs to have a meeting and agree to it.
But it used to.
What was the other, the last?
No, I just have one last thing. I had a student from Marist College come in to do an internship. He's going to start in 2 weeks. His project's going to be, we're going to try to develop an inventory system so we can have all our property in the department, you know exactly where it is, when it's got to go out of service, how old it is, and everything like that. So he's going to start in 2 weeks with us. We've had that a couple of times. Marist sends people down to us and they've helped us with different things. That's it, unless there's any other questions.
Yeah, Walter, can you get us like a name? We have a roster, positions for that, right?
Right. For
So
what?
we have a roster of positions for student interns.
Okay.
We just need a name.
Okay, I'll bring your name. I know his first name, I can't remember his last name.
And, you know, the next meeting, the board can address it
Okay,
formally.
okay, sounds good. I'll bring it.
If I may, I'm not sure if this should go to the police commissioner, you, sir. There's a vehicle parked by the cobbler shop that to all appearances looks abandoned. I'm not sure if it is.
I didn't hear what-
By the cobbler shop parking lot off
Okay.
West Main.
Okay,
And can that get looked into somehow?
okay, do you want type of vehicle it is, or?
Actually, I have somebody sent me a picture of it, so I can forward that to you tomorrow.
Yeah, you can do that.
Okay. I don't know if it is or not. They say it hasn't moved in weeks. And
Some people think my car is abandoned.
Nope.
Okay.
The point's taken. Monthly.
Highway.
I don't have anything at this time.
No.
You jumped me.
You did police?
Thank you, Commissioner.
You
Thank you,
did
sir.
police?
We did police, we did finance.
No, we didn't do finance. You started with trustee Lauricella, and he said, it's not me.
You have more to talk about finance?
I have one item that I want to talk about finance.
Just that I'm worried that we won't be in a good place when it comes to the putting together for the 2023 to 2024 fiscal budget. It's very worrisome in the position that we're at now, and with the almost no reporting to the finance committee, because it's unfortunately what we have to report to the board, that we haven't seen any fund lines yet or any balances in those fund lines, so it's extremely worrisome at this point. And that is the only other thing that we didn't talk about tonight, as well as, you already heard that the annual update documents are delinquent in filing, and that there are issues with receiving taxes and issues with staffing there. So I also do want to just throw a pat on the back to trustee Lauricella, as when he was head of the finance committee, he fielded a ton of calls from village residents who weren't paid, and he really, from what I understand, to interfacing with people, as he says, he went the extra distance to try and follow up to get those residents paid. And it's, I have to say, I see myself now, it is not easy, as I get multiple calls now per week, as trustee Lauricella stated that he had received them per week. And please, understand that I thank you for what you did.
Sure, my pleasure. Thank you.
All right, Mayor.
My question to the chairman, you had the exit interview with Dora. Was there anything significant on the exit interview?
It was, we should talk about that in executive session.
Okay.
It would not be a
Okay.
good thing to talk about this in an open
Okay.
forum.
All right.
Are you able to, if you're kind of like nebulous about it?
It's not a good idea.
Taxpayer might want to know.
It's, there just were a lot of issues, and a lot of the time, what I can tell the taxpayer, thank you, is that she felt like she was hitting a rock wall problem every step of the way. Like at the bank, she would want to make a bank deposit. She couldn't make the bank deposit because she couldn't get authority. She couldn't get authority because the person that had the authority is no longer in the village and had not given her authority prior to her taking that position. You understand where I'm going? So she was really caught in a very bad position on a lot of fronts, you know, and that wasn't just with the bank accounts, that was with, you know, when she wanted to do like interfund transfers for certain things and companies that she didn't have approvals to, you know, as a point of contact. So as I understand it, this was very hard for her.
I'm sure.
Yeah. Okay, good.
For example, we sent 125 telephone calls to her phone, and she couldn't access a single one of them because there's a special code that she can't get from the previous treasurer. I got to bring some kind of a phone expert in now to figure out how we can access those calls. We didn't know. Every time somebody would call us, we'd transfer the call to her. Well, it went to the phone, but she couldn't get anything out of it. The maximum is 125. There may have been more, but it's maxed out at 125 calls.
It took 125 calls for you to find that out?
That's what I was told today.
I also thought it was unfortunate that it took over a month for her to get access to her office.
Vendors knew that they were leaving her messages, and we just were like, why aren't you responding to these messages? And she's like, well, I never got notified. You know, it makes you think, this is a professional person. I mean, is she just gonna say, you know, I'm gonna, you know, derelict my job duty?
In her defense, what would happen
No.
is the people would call me and they say, I left a lot of messages with your treasurer. I have to get up, I walk over to her office while she's trying to do something, and I interrupt her. I say, you need to call this person. I'm doing that about 6-8 times a day. That's just me. Heather's getting the calls too.
But didn't you realize after 6 or 8 times something was wrong?
No,
No,
125.
She doesn't hear the phone ring.
yeah. There might have been more. It just maxes out at 100. Anyway, I'm gonna work on that tomorrow.
As
thank
far
you,
as
John.
Thanks,
authority,
John.
Okay, you're welcome.
Mike, you were saying the person didn't have authority to write out these checks because
Write out-
prior?
She didn't have authority to bank accounts, she didn't have authority with vendor accounts, she didn't have authority with the admin system.
Prior to that.
That would be
Prior treasurer.
the prior treasurer, the interim treasurer. And that is correct.
I understand that the village let that go like that.
There was,
You
yeah,
would think
I know.
before she was let go or she left, that
I'm-
whatever she had to pass on, she would have done that.
Just the head of the finance committee, not her boss, you know.
Going forward, we should write these things down.
Well, there was also something that she did for us, was she also put in place some procedures that she could hand down to the next person, which was actually very nice. And she did go above and beyond, you know, how to log into Edmunds, how to do this. She put together a couple binders up there. I know, John, you saw those binders? She put together some training binders and procedures for the next.
Okay.
Okay.
Highway Department. Highway Department.
I don't have anything at this time. I was gonna have a meeting. I think Trustee Niznik met with the highway super.
Yes, I
I
did.
was absent. She might have something.
I did meet with John the other day. He's very excited. Things are going well. He's getting a grasp of the department, the people that he works with, all positive things to say. He looks forward to working with the board and the rest of the village to get lots of things accomplished. So, all positive, nothing negative.
Pete left, right?
Yep.
See, that's another news thing. Half of the village people don't know that our ex-highway department chief left. That's new.
We had
You're
a
welcome to
meeting.
watch the meetings.
Or come to.
Oh yeah, a lot of times they put on the TV, guess what? I see the town. They're on, town's on more than you guys are.
YouTube, go to YouTube.
I don't even waste my time on YouTube.
Can you type?
I put 22 on. I pay for 22. I want to see you on 22.
John,
All right, thank you. Fire and Lake, Trustee Huber.
The fire department had 61 calls for the month of December, and the lake was, you know, we're not doing anything on the lake right now. It's winter time.
But it looks nice.
Looks nice.
Looks better than it ever looked.
Yeah.
Okay, safety. I'll draw your attention to this handout and this photograph in your handout. You're probably aware that they are rusting. There's some spots that in there are very sharp, someone could get hurt. So it was brought to my attention as the safety officer for the village. First of all, I wanted to determine ownership, so I called Dutchess County Loop Management, and they are not theirs, they are ours. I consulted with a village person that I know very well who has a metal shop to see what it would cost to fabricate new, these are metal, by the way, they're metal. And I got some suggestions about this special IPE decking wood that's very good. It's very hard, very dense, but it's also very expensive. Windsor Machine, Harry Turbush, called me back today and said, I will donate time and material to do both benches for the village. I thanked him, and I said I would mention to the board tonight that he would do that. I thought that was very gracious and generous of him to be able to do that for us at no cost.
So that,
The board okay? Did you want to graciously accept that offer?
no one's in.
I would make a motion that we give him our thought and give him our thanks.
John,
Trustee Telichet?
They need
I'll
new
second
benches.
Trustee Nesnick, second.
They need new benches.
All in favor?
Sandy,
Aye.
no one's in.
I will write him a letter, thank you, and see what.
No, those benches are gone. They're-
I think
You'll
he
you'll cut
addressed
yourself
that
on them.
with,
They're bus benches.
I know that. Did you see what that
Okay.
looks like?
Are they hiring?
As far,
We're gonna
We
replace
didn't get
it.
to that yet.
Oh, we're not done yet.
I am sorry.
No.
Go ahead.
Hold on.
as far as the ductwork in this building, top and bottom, you've heard me talk about it. I requested 3 quotes, I got 2, one wouldn't quote it. The best quote was from Folks, F-O-L-K-E-S. You've probably seen their big red trucks that says Folks across it. They were the most competitive bid at 5.7K, $5,670. And I am going to use them. They are going to do far more than the other company that quoted it as far as disinfectant and all of that. We've been in here nearly 10 years. The building, I remember, was built around 99 or so. And they haven't been cleaned, so that's what I'm going to do.
Wonderful.
Okay? Good. Recreation.
Recreation. We have a recreation meeting coming up this coming Monday. We'll be working on the Easter egg hunt. I'd also like to we have a discussion maybe with some board members about if we can get some assistance from the St. Patrick's Day Parade Committee for the St. Patrick's Day Parade expenses like that our police department incurs, because we love having them here, but I'm wondering if they might not be able to help us out a little. I don't want to go into great detail now, but we have the boathouse. It is available. We might be able to use it for some recreational activities in the 3 seasons that it is legally able to be used. So I'd like to discuss with the board the fee structure for that coming up. I did put together a memo a couple months back. I'm going to try and raise that with folks again. Not today, but it's sitting there. We need to get some tables. We need to get some chairs. We need to use it because it's a good structure. It's not perfect, but it's usable, and I'd like to see us doing something with it.
So will we look forward to that at the workshop meeting?
I would like to talk to that at the workshop meeting.
Perfect.
Okay, add it to the agenda, clerk.
What is that? Sorry, I missed it.
It's
Boathouse.
Boathouse.
Boathouse?
Yeah.
And I'm also trying to get estimates to make the cobbler shop meet requirements. 3 items that need to be repaired there.
And put the cobbler's building on.
Executive session.
John, you done there?
Yep.
Kevin, water?
Water, well, we really didn't talk about much because a couple members weren't around. They didn't come to the meeting. One was sick, the other one was taking care of a neighbor's child. So it was quiet. There was discussion about hiring somebody, but that was tabled for the time being. And there was a discussion on water loggers. It's basically what they are. They go into the ground and they would detect leaks on that water line. So we're still discussing what we want to do with that part.
Could I just ask
You can also, excuse me a second, you could also mention the fact that a water leak, a substantial leak was,
Oh, yeah, yep.
was found up on Old Route 9 near Autos, Advanced Auto Parts, I guess.
Total parts. That was a big leak.
Yep. So they found it, took care of it. So that's good.
They're pretty sure that was the leak. They would know in a couple days. You gotta wait for the
Yep.
water to build back up again.
All right, personnel,
We're good. Nothing for personnel.
we already did sewer, Mayor.
Yes, we did.
You wanna-
I'm gonna leave the Personnel Committee as is. If it gets dicey, if we get candidates, then I'll have to do a removal and an addition for 1 or 2 months, that's it. But as is, I'm leaving the Personnel Committee intact.
And you want me to go out to Indeed tomorrow, you said,
Yes.
advertising
Yep.
that position?
Yep.
Okay. All right, did you want to open it up to the public?
Questions, comment?
Not tonight.
Okay, do we have a,
No, not
I'll
tonight.
make a motion to close.
you want to go into executive session?
Yeah, we have 2 items.
Trustee Luricella made a motion to go into executive.
Second.
Who seconded that?
Mike.
Mike.
All in favor?
You did now.
Okay, good.
9:03. I gotta tell you something.